Hey guys, what's going on? This is Pixie the Bug, or Danny, whichever you feel like calling me. Um, First, excuse my voice if it goes a little bit wonky today. I swallowed an olive wrong. It got stuck in my throat, and it finally left last night while I was sleeping, but it screwed up my throat pretty bad. So if I sound funny at some points, that's why. Um, we've been going through the world's strangest myth creatures, but it's Halloween season, so I figured that through the month of October, we would go through some more of the popular figures. So the most popular one that a lot of people think of is Dracula. Um, Unlike some of the myth creatures, he was a real person. You probably know him very well as from Disney or Bram Stoker. Sorry if I say his name wrong. His real name was Abraham Stoker. He wrote the Book of Dracula. His name actually comes from Vlad the Impaler. That's where he got his character from. And his actual last name was Vlad Dracula, which is where we get Dracula. We just added an A at the end. So Vlad the Impaler, and I don't know if you can see that very well, was actually a real person. He was Vlad the Third, and he came from Romania. Now this is a bit weird. I thought this was weird. He is the national hero of Romania. All right, this guy did some nasty stuff. We'll get into it. So, he was born in 1431. Excuse my voice. And he was assassinated in Bucharest, Romania on December of 1476. So, because I'm curious, 1476 subtract 1431. He was 45 years old when he was assassinated. This is a real person, guys. He was the ruler of, I'm going to slaughter this, Wallachia? It's right there. Wallachia. He's actually buried in Comana Monastery in Comana, Romania. So I guess if you're got that kind of money, I'm in America, and feel like going, you can go check out his place of burial. It's a monastery. It's probably really creepy. I'm not going to get into that, though, even though I am into that kind of stuff. But he was Vlad the Third. This guy down here, I thought this was interesting. They named him the Human Dracula. He started in 1988 and murdered 4 young girls and preserved their body parts as trophies. I just forgot to click that back up. But that's creepy. And terrible. Guys, don't kill people. Don't do that. The actual castle that he lived in was in Romania. It's situated high atop a mountain and accessed by climbing 1,480 concrete stairs. So if you're feeling, if you want to go visit it, I would think that you'd be allowed to, but that's a lot of stairs, guys. But if you can do it, it's called Poenari Citadel, if you can see that. Poenari Citadel. Let's see if we can get a picture of it. There we go. So that is the real castle. It's pretty neat. That's pretty. It looks pretty in the pictures. But 1,000, oh look, here they are, right there. See that? Those are stairs. 1,480. Look how steep some of them are. That is intense. Bring water, guys, if you go. Bring water. So, Vlad the Impaler was called Dracula. He was born in Transylvania as the second son of the nobleman. He took the name Dracula, meaning son of Dracul, which makes sense. And he was initiated, this is awkward, into a secret order of Christian knights known as the Order of the Dragon. In Romania, Dracul means dragon. So that's something interesting to look into. the secret order of Christian knights known as the Order of the Dragon. I didn't dive into this too much before I got here. I just kind of looked gently into it. Like, I just breezed through it. The Order of the Dragon was a monarchical chivalric order only for selected higher aristocracy and monarchs, founded in 1408 by Sigismund of Luxembourg, who was then King of Hungary, and later became Holy Roman Emperor. So it actually wasn't created very far before he was born, because wasn't he born in like 1431? And the Order of the Knights came out starting in 1408. So it was only 30 years old when this order was created, and he joined it, which I guess he had the ability to, because he was aristocracy. So that's pretty messed up. So he got his last name Dracula because it meant Dracul, son of Dracul. So that's interesting. Apparently he was pretty vicious. I have that up somewhere. I have his story up. Welcome to NBC News. I'm not gonna allow ads, so. Good Lord. Nobody. I'm not allowing ads on my thing, guys. So, I'm not going into Wiki because that would be terrible. 10 facts about Vlad the Impaler. I didn't look at those. I just assumed that they would let you look into it. His family name means dragon, which is what we literally just looked at. Look at that picture. I don't know who that is. Sigismund. So that was the king there. That was the king. Look at that hair. I wonder how they do that. Like, he got his hair, like, cut, and his mustache is twirled. Okay, we'll keep going. He was born in Wallachia, which is present-day Romania. He was held hostage for 5 years. Vlad accompanied his father and his 7-year-old brother Radu on a diplomatic mission in the heart of the Ottoman Empire. However, the three were captured and held hostage by the Ottoman diplomats. Their captors told Vlad II, so his father, that he could be released on condition that his 2 sons remained. The boys were held in a citadel atop a rocky precipice over the town of, that's going to be slaughtered, guys, Egrigaz. Now, Dalgrugaz, sorry guys, this is Turkish. I don't speak Turkish. I was going to slaughter it in present-day Turkey. During the 5 years of captivity in the fortress, Vlad and his brother were taught lessons in the art of war, science, and philosophy. That was a good idea. Let's teach the guy how to kill people. His father and brother were both murdered. They were killed in the marshes behind his house, while his oldest son, Mercy, was tortured, blinded, and buried alive. Wow, that is brutal. Vlad III was freed shortly after his family's death, However, by then he had already developed a taste for violence. That makes sense, because considering his history. To consolidate power and assert his dominance, he decided to hold a banquet and invited hundreds of members of his rival families. We can see where this is going. Knowing his authority would be challenged, he had his guests stabbed and their still twitching bodies impaled on spikes, which is probably why he's called Vlad the Impaler. So the people who... Yeah, that's pretty messed up right there. He killed over hundreds of people in that one banquet alone. And that's the first time I've heard of that. So at his very first banquet, he invited all these people over and murdered them all. That's crazy. He was named for his preferred form of torture. Made sense. His victims were often disemboweled, beheaded, and skinned or boiled alive. What in the world? However, impalement came to be his killing method of choice, largely because it was also a form of torture. Impaling involved a wooden or metal pole inserted through the genitals to the victim's mouth, shoulders, or neck. It would often take hours, if not days, for the victim to finally die. That is... wow. His reputation continued to grow. I'm so horrified, I'm just going to keep going. His reputation continued to grow as he inflicted this type of torture on foreign and domestic enemies alike. In one account, he once dined among a forest of spikes topped with wreathing bodies. His penchant for impaling his enemies and leaving them to die earned him the name Vlad Tepes, or Vlad the Impaler. So, we know how he got his name now. He ordered the mass killing of 20,000 Ottomans. That was in June of 1462. When the Sultan Mehmed II came across the field of the dead being picked apart by crows, he was so horrified that he retreated to Constantinople. There's a song about that. Not about that specifically, but Constantinople. The Looney Tunes sang it. Constantinople, now it's Istanbul or something like that. Sorry. The location of his death is unknown. Vlad was forced into exile and imprisoned in Hungary. He returned in 1476 to reclaim his rule of Wallachia. When did he die? 1476. Okay, so this is when he dies. He returned to reclaim his rule of Wallachia. However, his triumph was short-lived. While marching to battle with the Ottomans, he and his soldiers were ambushed and killed. According to Leonardo Botta, the Milanese ambassador to Buddha, the Ottomans cut his corpse into pieces and paraded back to Constantinople. Holy crap! These guys were vicious back then. So the Ottomans caught him, must be when he was ambushed, cut his corpse into like a million pieces, paraded them back to Constantinople to the hands of Sultan Mehmed II to be displayed over the city's guests. His remains have never been found. So, even though it says his corpse was buried in that one citadel, I remember reading that to you guys. So if his corpse was never found, his remains have never been found, what's in that monastery? He was an undeniably brutal... English is hard today. He was an undeniably brutal ruler. However, he is still considered one of the most important rulers in Wallachian history. Wallachian? Sorry. And a national hero of Romania. Look at that jewel. Do you know how much that would be worth in today's world? Just that jewel alone. I think these are pearls. And I'm sure back then they were that big. But today, at least the ones I've found are usually about that size. So those... he had to have been really rich back then to afford that. And that looks like pure gold. That's intense. And number 10, he was the inspiration behind Bram Stoker's Dracula. However, the two characters have little in common. Historians have speculated that Stoker's conversations with the historian Herman Bamberger may have helped provide him with information of Vlad's nature. Despite Vlad's infamous bloodthirstiness, Stoker's novel was the first to make the connection between Dracula and vampirism. So, he didn't actually drink blood. He impaled people, which is the stake might be the thing. He did have children, which is odd. Dracula's daughter, remember, I don't know. Apparently it's directed by Lambert Hillier. Maybe it's a movie or something. I didn't look it up. Tells the story of Countess Maria Zaleski, the daughter of Count Dracula and herself a vampire. Following her father's death, Dracula's death, she believes that by destroying his body, she'll be free of his influence and live normally. Which I thought was interesting because Vlad the Impaler did have kids. It was Mihail Rao, Vlad the Fourth of Dracula, Mihail, and then Radu, and then if you look up here, Zaleska. Now, I'm just going to look just because I'm curious. But that doesn't mean we'll get a picture of her. Because I don't think... Oh, wait. There we go. That might be a thing. I don't know if that's actually her. This is... Take that with a grain of salt, guys. It's from Wikipedia. I'm guessing. But she seems to have had black hair and dark eyes, which makes sense because her father was black-haired and dark-eyed. So, anyway, guys, that is the end of... Oh, look, they redid the stairs. This has got to be a new thing, because these were metal. So, obviously, look at that. They still have the... if you don't know what that is, it's something... You put the head right there, and then you put the hands in these little holes, and it holds them hostage. If you could tell... it's pretty tall, so I'm assuming that these people basically hung there. If you look at them in cartoons, they show them, like, bent over. I don't know the name of them. I used to, way back when I was a kid, but, yeah. So that's obviously right outside his castle. And there's some statues there. I don't know if you can see them. That looks like a real face. But I think that the thing's just gone. You see that? It looks kind of like a face right there, but I'm thinking that's just a really cool thing. So anyway, that's castle. That's pretty cool. Hold on, Mom. So yeah, that's Vlad the Impaler, guys. That's Dracula and his story. So I'm gonna do Dracula this week, and I don't know what I'm doing next week. Look, you can buy it. For sale, Dracula's Castle. Visit. I don't think that's actually Dracula's Castle, because we just looked at it. And also hitting the market, Bran Castle in Transylvania, the one-time home. Okay. To be fair, it's a bit more interesting than Ponari Castle, which is Vlad's actual home. So this is fake, guys. It's not actually Ponari Castle. You can't actually buy it. So I'm going to leave this here. We're going to get going. So I'm going to leave this here. I'll post it up. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. Have a great week ahead. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye.